Most people holding silver think they're safe, but if you own less than this, you're actually exposed. Stop for a moment and listen carefully, because what I'm about to say could quietly decide whether you protect your future or risk watching it slip away. Right now, most people think they're safe. They think owning a little silver is enough. But here's the uncomfortable truth. If you own less than a certain amount of silver, you're not protected, you're exposed, and the clock is not slowing down. I learned this lesson the hard way. Years ago, I watched intelligent, hardworking people do everything right. They saved cash. They trusted systems. They believed stability was guaranteed. And then, slowly at first, and then all at once, their purchasing power evaporated. Meanwhile, a small group of people stayed calm. They weren't panicking. They weren't glued to the news. They had positioned themselves quietly, patiently in real assets, especially silver. That's when I understood something most people never do until it's too late. Silver isn't just a metal. It's a strategy. It's insurance. It's leverage on the future. Think about this. Silver is one of the few assets in history that has survived every currency collapse, every financial reset, every empire rise and fall. Yet today, it's treated like an afterthought. That disconnect is where opportunity lives. When something essential is ignored, underestimated, and undervalued, that's usually the moment before it reasserts its power. I once met a small business owner who had no background in finance. He didn't trade charts. He didn't chase hype. He simply asked one question. What happens if everything I trust stops working? Instead of waiting for an answer, he started converting a portion of his income into silver, consistently, quietly, month after month. Years later, while others were scrambling, he had options. He wasn't rich overnight, but he was free from fear. And freedom, not flashy wealth, is the real win. Here's the first truth most people avoid. Owning a few ounces of silver feels good, but it doesn't change your position. It's like owning a fire extinguisher with one spray left. Comforting, but not enough when the fire spreads. Real protection comes from intentional accumulation. From deciding that silver isn't a hobby, it's a foundation. Ask yourself this honestly. If systems strain, prices spike, and access tightens, will what you own today actually protect you tomorrow? Or will it simply remind you that you should have acted sooner? The second truth is about mindset. Wealth is not built by reacting. It's built by positioning early. Silver rewards patience, not panic. The people who win with silver aren't emotional buyers. They are disciplined accumulators. They understand that volatility is not danger. It's opportunity wearing a scary mask. I remember an investor who started buying silver when no one was talking about it. Friends laughed. Headlines ignored it. But he kept buying through boredom, through doubt, through silence. Then demand surged. Premiums exploded. Availability dried up. Suddenly, everyone wanted what he already had. That's how wealth quietly transfers, from the impatient to the prepared. Silver teaches you a powerful life lesson. Consistency beats intensity. You don't need to buy everything at once. You need a system, a habit, a rule you follow even when it feels boring. Because boring strategies, executed long enough, create extraordinary results. Now here's something most people miss. Silver doesn't just protect wealth, it sharpens discipline. When you convert effort into something tangible, something real, you think differently. You spend differently. You plan differently. You stop trading time for consumption and start trading time for security. That shift alone can change the trajectory of a life. Think of silver like a mirror. It reflects your patience, your foresight, your willingness to delay gratification. Every ounce is a vote for your future self. Every missed opportunity is a reminder that hesitation has a cost. So what does action actually look like? It's simpler than people think. First, stop thinking in terms of a little. Decide on a personal minimum, a level of ownership where you move from exposed to positioned. Second, build a rhythm. Whether it's weekly, monthly, or quarterly, consistency matters more than timing. Third, prioritize physical ownership. What you hold, you control. What you control, you protect. And here's the mindset shift that separates builders from watchers. Stop waiting for permission. The best financial decisions are rarely celebrated when they're made. They're questioned, they're doubted. They only make sense in hindsight. By then, the door is usually closing. Silver accumulation is not about fear, it's about clarity. It's about recognizing that systems change, but principles don't. Scarcity matters. Tangibility matters. Preparation matters. One day, sooner than most expect, people will ask a simple question. Do you have enough? And the ones who do won't need to explain themselves. They'll feel it, in their calm, in their options, in their ability to choose rather than react. This is bigger than silver. This is about who you become when you take responsibility for your future. Disciplined, calm, strategic, unshakable, the kind of person who doesn't chase headlines but positions ahead of them. Owning a small amount of silver can feel reassuring at first. It gives a sense of security, a feeling that you're doing something smart with your money, that you have a tangible asset in your hands. But here's the truth most people overlook. Comfort is not the same as protection. Comfort is a temporary feeling. It fades the moment a system is tested, when markets shake, or when access to resources becomes limited. Holding just a few ounces of silver is like having a life jacket with a small tier. It may float for a while, but it's not going to save you if the waves rise too high. Real protection comes not from owning a little, but from positioning yourself intentionally, from understanding your risk, and from ensuring that your holdings are sufficient to withstand the challenges that history and markets inevitably bring. Many investors fall into the trap of believing that a token amount of silver is enough because it feels like a hedge. They might buy a coin or two whenever the price dips, thinking that's their shield against uncertainty. Yet, when the system faces real stress, when inflation surges, or when access to physical silver becomes constrained, those small holdings do not offer the leverage or security needed to truly protect wealth. The lesson is subtle but critical. The quantity you hold matters just as much as the quality or the timing of the purchase. Protection is not an abstract idea. It's tangible, measurable, and quantifiable. Owning less than what you truly need leaves you exposed in ways that are easy to ignore until it's too late. Positioning yourself intentionally requires more than just buying silver randomly or sporadically. It requires understanding the dynamics of scarcity, the mechanics of supply and demand, and the role silver plays in both the economy and personal financial security. It means calculating a personal minimum level of ownership based on your lifestyle, responsibilities, and long-term goals. It's about knowing not just that silver is valuable, but how much of it you need to feel secure when systems are stressed and conventional assets fail to maintain their value. This is a mindset shift from passive ownership to active strategy, from reacting to events to preparing for them in advance. Real protection also involves consistency. Holding a small amount once or twice may offer momentary reassurance, but wealth and security are built through repeated, disciplined accumulation. Just as a single drop of water cannot fill a reservoir, a few scattered coins cannot secure your future. It is the cumulative effect, the steady habit of building your holdings, that creates true protection. People who understand this principle do not panic when the price fluctuates. They continue their strategy calmly, knowing that over time, their consistent approach positions them far ahead of those who rely on luck or timing. Furthermore, the sense of security derived from small holdings can be dangerous because it encourages complacency. People may believe they are safe and postpone action, ignoring the gap between what they have and what they need. Real protection is uncomfortable. It forces you to calculate, plan, and sometimes make sacrifices. But this discomfort is precisely what transforms temporary comfort into long-term security. It changes the way you think about wealth, risk, and responsibility, making you proactive rather than reactive in the face of uncertainty. By owning intentionally and adequately, you ensure that your silver holdings serve their true purpose, to act as a foundation for financial resilience. This approach requires thoughtfulness, discipline, and a clear understanding that comfort without scale is an illusion. Owning too little may feel safe now, but it does not create the buffer needed to withstand future challenges. True protection emerges only when quantity meets strategy, when accumulation is consistent, and when every ounce you own is part of a deliberate plan to secure your financial freedom and peace of mind. Silver is not just another commodity. It is a form of financial insurance that has endured through centuries of economic upheaval. Unlike paper currency, which can lose value due to inflation, political instability, or central bank policies, silver holds intrinsic worth that cannot be erased by changing financial systems. Its value is rooted in its scarcity, industrial demand, and historical significance, making it one of the few assets that consistently preserves wealth across generations. Many people fail to recognize this because they view silver as a speculative investment, something to buy when prices rise or sell when they fall, rather than as a strategic safeguard against uncertainty. The unique resilience of silver becomes evident when markets are stressed. During financial crises, recessions, or periods of hyperinflation, those holding physical silver often find themselves in a position of stability while others scramble to protect themselves. Unlike stocks or bonds, which can lose value rapidly, or digital assets that depend on technology and trust in systems, silver's worth is tangible and universally recognized. It is accepted globally, its value does not rely on promises or accounting measures, and it cannot be created at will by governments or financial institutions. This makes it a rare asset capable of surviving systemic shocks, currency collapses, and geopolitical turmoil. Understanding silver as financial insurance also changes the way you approach accumulation and risk. It is not about chasing short-term gains or attempting to time the market perfectly. It is about building a position that provides security when conventional assets fail. This requires thinking beyond price charts and market trends and focusing on long-term preservation of wealth. The discipline of holding silver forces you to consider your exposure to systemic risks, to evaluate your financial safety net, and to create a tangible buffer against unpredictable events. In essence, owning silver is a proactive measure. It is a statement that you are prepared for scenarios most people refuse to consider, and that you value security over speculation. Silver's insurance-like qualities extend beyond the individual level to families, communities, and even nations. Those who hold it are better positioned to weather crises, maintain purchasing power, and access resources when other forms of wealth are compromised. It is an asset that demands patience and foresight, rewarding those who accumulate steadily rather than those who react emotionally to market noise. By treating silver as insurance rather than a gamble, investors cultivate a mindset of long-term resilience, discipline, and strategic thinking. In the modern financial landscape, where volatility and uncertainty are constants, silver's role as a protective asset is more important than ever. It offers a hedge not only against inflation and market swings, but also against the unseen forces that can erode wealth silently over time. Those who understand this principle do not panic when paper assets falter. They rely on a tangible foundation that has withstood the test of centuries, a foundation that preserves value when conventional measures fail, and a tool that empowers strategic decision-making in an unpredictable world. Consistency is the cornerstone of building real wealth, and nowhere is this more evident than in the accumulation of silver. Many people make the mistake of thinking that timing the market or making a single large purchase is the key to success. They watch prices fluctuate, hoping for the perfect moment, and often end up paralyzed by indecision. But history shows us a simple truth. Wealth is rarely created by reacting to short-term events. It is built through steady, disciplined action over time. When it comes to silver, this principle is magnified because its power lies not in volatility, but in reliability and persistence. Every ounce you acquire consistently adds to your long-term security, even if it feels insignificant in the moment. Consider the approach of successful silver investors. They do not chase headlines or attempt to predict the next spike in price. Instead, they develop a system, a methodical plan for accumulating silver steadily, month after month, year after year. They buy regardless of market sentiment, understanding that the cumulative effect of consistent purchases far outweighs the temporary gains from perfect timing. This approach transforms silver from a speculative commodity into a reliable foundation for financial resilience. Over time, their holdings grow silently in the background, creating a buffer that provides options and freedom when volatility strikes or markets become unpredictable. Consistency in silver investing also cultivates discipline and patience, two traits that are critical not only for financial success, but for personal growth. By adhering to a plan, you train yourself to think long-term, to resist emotional reactions, and to prioritize preparation over immediate gratification. It is a mindset that carries into other areas of life: saving, career growth, and strategic decision-making. People who practice consistent accumulation understand that small, deliberate actions compound into substantial results. They see that a single ounce added regularly can, over years, become enough to protect against financial shocks, hedge against inflation, and provide tangible security in uncertain times. There are countless examples of individuals who transformed their financial reality through consistent silver accumulation. Entrepreneurs who started with a few coins and committed to a disciplined schedule now hold enough silver to feel secure, even when paper assets falter. Families who prioritized physical silver over trendy investments discovered that consistency shielded them from crises that blindsided friends and neighbors. These examples illustrate a fundamental lesson. Consistent action builds resilience, and resilience creates freedom. The rhythm of accumulation becomes more important than the noise of the market because over time, it is this rhythm that determines who is prepared and who is exposed. Another aspect of consistency is the development of confidence and clarity. When you follow a disciplined plan, each purchase reinforces a sense of control over your financial future. It shifts the mindset from fear to empowerment, from speculation to strategy. This psychological benefit is often overlooked, but it is a critical component of long-term success. People who accumulate silver steadily do not panic during market swings. They have confidence in the process, knowing that each small step contributes to a secure foundation. This mindset reduces stress, enhances decision-making, and allows investors to act strategically rather than react emotionally. Furthermore, consistency creates a margin of safety. Silver is an asset that rewards patience. Short-term fluctuations may create anxiety for those who chase quick gains, but disciplined accumulators understand that time magnifies the value of their strategy. Each ounce purchased methodically increases their buffer against economic uncertainty, currency depreciation, and systemic shocks. The cumulative effect of consistent accumulation is not just financial. It shapes behavior, instills discipline, and strengthens the ability to weather adversity. Consistency also enables flexibility. By steadily building holdings over time, investors are able to make choices from a position of strength rather than desperation. They can decide when to sell, when to trade, or when to hold without panic or regret. The security created by this approach extends beyond money. It impacts mindset, lifestyle, and long-term planning. It is a principle that applies to life as much as it does to finance. Small, repeated, intentional actions create outcomes that sporadic, reactive behavior never can. In essence, consistency transforms silver accumulation from a passive act into a powerful strategy. It allows individuals to quietly build wealth, protect their future, and cultivate habits of discipline, patience, and strategic thinking. Those who embrace this approach gain more than just ounces of silver. They gain the freedom to make choices, the resilience to withstand uncertainty, and the confidence to navigate an unpredictable world with clarity and calm. Positioning yourself early in silver is one of the most powerful decisions you can make, and yet it is a choice that most people delay or ignore entirely. Many wait for confirmation, for the perfect moment, or for the price to rise before acting. They watch from the sidelines, observing market movements, listening to opinions, and hoping that someone else will point the way. Meanwhile, those who position themselves early gain a quiet but decisive advantage. They understand that timing the market perfectly is nearly impossible, but positioning early and consistently ensures that when opportunities arise, they are ready, prepared, and unshaken by panic. Early positioning in silver is not just about buying before prices rise. It's about securing a foundation that allows you to act with confidence when uncertainty strikes. Those who act early develop options that others do not have. They can leverage their holdings to protect their wealth, take advantage of sudden market shifts, or simply feel the freedom that comes from knowing they are prepared. The power of early positioning is amplified because silver is a finite, tangible asset. Its availability is limited, and when demand surges, those who have positioned themselves ahead of the crowd benefit from scarcity and strategic foresight. Those who hesitate often find that opportunity has passed, and acquiring silver becomes more difficult, more expensive, or more stressful. Consider the psychological impact of early positioning. People who start accumulating silver before crises or market surges develop a mindset of foresight and resilience. They are not driven by fear. They are guided by strategy. They recognize patterns that others ignore, seeing potential risks and opportunities where most see only noise. This mindset extends beyond silver investing. It shapes decisions across life, business, and personal finances. Positioning early trains you to think ahead, to prepare before pressure mounts, and to act deliberately rather than react impulsively. It builds confidence, reduces stress, and creates a sense of control that is rare in an unpredictable world. History is full of examples where early positioning made the difference between security and vulnerability. Those who acquired tangible assets quietly and consistently often weathered crises that decimated unprepared investors. Small accumulations of silver, bought patiently over time, transformed into significant advantages when systems were tested. People who positioned themselves early were able to maintain purchasing power, access resources, and preserve wealth while others scrambled. This is a lesson that extends beyond finance. It is a principle of life. Those who act before pressure mounts are the ones who navigate challenges with ease, while those who wait are forced into reactionary decisions and lost opportunities. Early positioning also allows you to harness the power of compounding advantage. Each ounce purchased builds upon the last, creating a buffer that grows quietly but steadily. Over time, this accumulation provides flexibility, freedom to make choices without being constrained by circumstances or scarcity. People who position themselves early are able to buy, hold, or trade from a position of strength rather than desperation. The consistency of their strategy, combined with early action, ensures that they are not merely participating in the market, but are shaping their own financial future on their terms. Moreover, early positioning instills patience and discipline, two qualities essential for long-term success. It teaches that wealth is rarely the result of sudden windfalls or luck, but of foresight, preparation, and sustained effort. By acting before the crowd, investors avoid emotional reactions to market swings and instead focus on deliberate, strategic accumulation. This principle is empowering because it reinforces the idea that preparation creates freedom, and that by thinking ahead, you can navigate uncertainty with confidence rather than fear. Positioning early in silver is more than a financial strategy. It is a mindset shift. It moves you from passive observation to active preparation, from reacting to leading, and from uncertainty to clarity. Those who embrace this approach gain a quiet, unshakable advantage. They understand that the decisions made today, often unseen and uncelebrated, determine the outcomes of tomorrow. By acting early, they create options, resilience, and freedom that latecomers cannot access. They are prepared not because they predicted the future perfectly, but because they positioned themselves ahead of it, cultivating the ability to navigate change with foresight, composure, and strategic advantage. Positioning yourself early in silver is one of the most powerful decisions you can make, and yet it is a choice that most people delay or ignore entirely. Many wait for confirmation, for the perfect moment, or for the price to rise before acting. They watch from the sidelines, observing market movements, listening to opinions, and hoping that someone else will point the way. Meanwhile, those who position themselves early gain a quiet but decisive advantage. They understand that timing the market perfectly is nearly impossible, but positioning early and consistently ensures that when opportunities arise, they are ready, prepared, and unshaken by panic. Early positioning in silver is not just about buying before prices rise. It's about securing a foundation that allows you to act with confidence when uncertainty strikes. Those who act early develop options that others do not have. They can leverage their holdings to protect their wealth, take advantage of sudden market shifts, or simply feel the freedom that comes from knowing they are prepared. The power of early positioning is amplified because silver is a finite, tangible asset. Its availability is limited, and when demand surges, those who have positioned themselves ahead of the crowd benefit from scarcity and strategic foresight. Those who hesitate often find that opportunity has passed, and acquiring silver becomes more difficult, more expensive, or more stressful. Consider the psychological impact of early positioning. People who start accumulating silver before crises or market surges develop a mindset of foresight and resilience. They are not driven by fear. They are guided by strategy. They recognize patterns that others ignore, seeing potential risks and opportunities where most see only noise. This mindset extends beyond silver investing. It shapes decisions across life, business, and personal finances. Positioning early trains you to think ahead, to prepare before pressure mounts, and to act deliberately rather than react impulsively. It builds confidence, reduces stress, and creates a sense of control that is rare in an unpredictable world. History is full of examples where early positioning made the difference between security and vulnerability. Those who acquired tangible assets quietly and consistently often weathered crises that decimated unprepared investors. Small accumulations of silver, bought patiently over time, transformed into significant advantages when systems were tested. People who positioned themselves early were able to maintain purchasing power, access resources, and preserve wealth while others scrambled. This is a lesson that extends beyond finance. It is a principle of life. Those who act before pressure mounts are the ones who navigate challenges with ease, while those who wait are forced into reactionary decisions and lost opportunities. Early positioning also allows you to harness the power of compounding advantage. Each ounce purchased builds upon the last, creating a buffer that grows quietly but steadily. Over time, this accumulation provides flexibility, freedom to make choices without being constrained by circumstance or scarcity. People who position themselves early are able to buy, hold, or trade from a position of strength rather than desperation. The consistency of their strategy, combined with early action, ensures that they are not merely participating in the market, but are shaping their own financial future on their terms. Moreover, early positioning instills patience and discipline, two qualities essential for long-term success. It teaches that wealth is rarely the result of sudden windfalls or luck, but of foresight, preparation, and sustained effort. By acting before the crowd, investors avoid emotional reactions to market swings and instead focus on deliberate, strategic accumulation. This principle is empowering because it reinforces the idea that preparation creates freedom, and that by thinking ahead, you can navigate uncertainty with confidence rather than fear. Positioning early in silver is more than a financial strategy. It is a mindset shift. It moves you from passive observation to active preparation, from reacting to leading, and from uncertainty to clarity. Those who embrace this approach gain a quiet, unshakable advantage. They understand that the decisions made today, often unseen and uncelebrated, determine the outcomes of tomorrow. By acting early, they create options, resilience, and freedom that latecomers cannot access. They are prepared not because they predicted the future perfectly, but because they position themselves ahead of it, cultivating the ability to navigate change with foresight, composure, and strategic advantage. Physical silver ownership is more than just a financial choice. It is a deliberate act that shapes your mindset, habits, and long-term decision-making. Unlike digital assets or paper investments, physical silver demands attention, discipline, and responsibility. When you hold silver in your hands, you are reminded that wealth is tangible, scarce, and real. It cannot be created by a keystroke or manipulated by policy. Its value is intrinsic, enduring, and universally recognized. This tangibility transforms the way you think about money, risk, and preparation, reinforcing principles that extend far beyond investing. Owning silver physically forces you to confront the realities of scarcity and storage. It is not an abstract number on a screen. It exists in your possession with weight, size, and presence. This physicality creates a psychological anchor. You become aware that wealth is not simply an idea or a balance in a bank account. It is something real that you can control, protect, and utilize when necessary. This awareness fosters discipline, encouraging regular accumulation, careful planning, and thoughtful management of resources. People who invest in physical silver consistently report a shift in mindset. They prioritize long-term security over short-term gratification and develop a stronger sense of financial responsibility. The act of accumulating physical silver teaches patience. Unlike volatile paper investments, silver rewards consistency and foresight. Each coin or bar purchased is a deliberate step towards stability, a tangible representation of planning and preparation. This practice of steady accumulation instills habits that carry over into other areas of life, from personal finance to career growth and even relationships. It reminds you that meaningful progress is rarely instant. It requires repeated intentional actions and the ability to delay gratification in favor of long-term results. Physical ownership also reinforces risk awareness and strategic thinking. When you hold silver, you are constantly aware of the potential vulnerabilities of relying solely on paper assets or digital wealth. It encourages you to evaluate your exposure, diversify wisely, and consider contingencies that others may ignore. By managing and protecting physical silver, you develop skills in foresight, planning, and resourcefulness. These skills are transferable. They improve your ability to navigate uncertainty, make informed decisions, and act proactively rather than reactively in both financial and personal matters. Moreover, physical silver creates a sense of security that goes beyond numbers. It is an anchor in times of volatility, a buffer against inflation, and a hedge against systemic risk. Holding it tangibly allows you to feel the stability you have created, which in turn enhances confidence and clarity in decision-making. You begin to view wealth as a tool rather than a goal, understanding that financial security enables freedom of choice, resilience in adversity, and the ability to act without panic when circumstances shift. This psychological benefit is often overlooked, but is one of the most powerful outcomes of holding silver physically. Physical silver ownership also cultivates a mindset of intentionality. Every acquisition is a conscious decision, a vote for your future self, and a reinforcement of your priorities. Unlike digital or paper investments, which can be accumulated passively or without engagement, physical silver demands involvement, attention, and responsibility. This engagement strengthens focus, self-discipline, and strategic thinking, aligning your actions with your long-term objectives. The combination of tangibility, scarcity, and intentional accumulation makes physical silver a transformative asset. It reshapes habits, reinforces patience, and enhances financial literacy. By holding silver in your hands, you internalize the principles of discipline, foresight, and strategic positioning, creating not only financial security, but also the mindset necessary to sustain it. It teaches that wealth is not just what you have, it is how you manage, protect, and grow it, transforming both your financial landscapes and the way you approach life itself. Ultimately, physical silver ownership is a teacher. It instills values, habits, and perspectives that digital numbers cannot replicate. It encourages deliberate action, builds patience, strengthens risk awareness, and fosters a disciplined approach to wealth. Through tangible accumulation, you cultivate resilience, strategic thinking, and a long-term vision, making every ounce a step toward not only financial security, but personal growth, empowerment, and freedom. So if this message resonated with you, don't let it fade into another forgotten video. Take one action, make one decision, shift one habit. And if you believe more people need to hear this, people who are working hard but still feel uncertain, share it with them. Like this video if you believe real wealth is built quietly. Subscribe if you want clarity over chaos, strategy over fear, and long-term thinking in a short-term world. Because silver isn't about getting rich fast. It's about staying strong when others are forced to catch up. And remember, owning silver isn't the goal. Owning enough is.